Hello and welcome to the first session of CICD Summer School. I'm your host, Michael Jenkins. This is session 0 because all good computer engineers start counting from 0. Um, yeah, thanks for joining me. Like I said, my name is Michael. This is my first live stream, so I'm so glad that you are here to join me for this momentous occasion. And I'll share the agenda with you in a minute. I've got some notes over here to kind of keep me on track. Um, First thing I want to do is just kind of introduce myself. You may know me from my LinkedIn Learning classes. You may follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or some other social media. I'm just glad that you're here with me today. I'm a computer engineer by education and trade, BS, MS Computer Engineering from Iowa State University, Go Clones. And I work for a leading company in the media and entertainment industry. Um, Most of my time in the 25 years that I've been in industry has been spent working in systems administration, DevOps, and SRE roles, and I've kind of channeled that experience into my love for media. I've done blogs. I've written technical content, and I also produce online courses for LinkedIn Learning and Pluralsight. So that's just like a hobby of mine. So I appreciate being able to achieve and gain the experience through my day-to-day work, but then also sharing that knowledge with people through my courses and other online content. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, probably since 2020 or 21, I can't recall, but live streaming. So I wanted to add this to my repertoire of mediums to work with for content creation. So here we are today, the first live stream in CI/CD Summer School. And I also have some slides to kind of keep me on track and to share with you some of the points that we'll be discussing today. So let me bring those slides up and then go to I guess this first slide here. As I mentioned, I've created several courses for LinkedIn Learning. Started in 2016, and since then I've published, I don't know, maybe 20 courses. There's 12 that are live right now. Here are a few that you can see. But those courses, they get updated, they come off, or I have to make changes and so on. So all the courses I recorded aren't live, but you can see 12 of the courses that I recorded, just a few of them represented on this screen here. And most of the topics that I cover are in software development, specifically CI/CD and the tools that engineers and developers use for CI/CD. And if you're new to the term, CI/CD is continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. But before we get too far into that, let's get a little interactive here. And I just want to know what brought you here today. If you're watching live or if you're watching the replay, um, just drop in the comments maybe where you're watching from. If you have taken one of my courses, let me know that. Let me know which one. Let me know what you hated. Let me know what you liked about it. I'm just happy to hear what brought you here today. And like I mentioned, what brought me here today is wanting to live stream. Just again, use it as another medium to share my experience with people, and just kind of interact with folks that follow me on LinkedIn. Specifically, one of the things that it troubles me as an instructor is when I produce this content and kind of bundle it up, right? And it's a finished package. And LinkedIn, God bless them, they put that content online and they let people interact with it. But me as the author, I don't get to interact with the learners, the students, as they take the course. So my hope in preparing and producing the course is that it is rock solid enough that, number one, the information's correct, number two, that there are no errors in it, and number three, that you can just follow along and appreciate the course and get something out of it. I can't get that feedback because we're asynchronous, right? But In a live stream, we do have that opportunity through the comments, through the event page where you can like leave information for me. The courses, they do have a Q&A page. It allows a little bit more interaction, but still, it's just like somebody who's sitting there, they're in the thick of it, of this course that I prepared. I don't know what they're going through as they're taking that course. So I'm just hoping that everything is working well for me, because you may be familiar with the saying, works on my machine, right? So if I produce a course and it works on my machine, but then my students try it and it doesn't work, I mean, shame on me, right? So I'm just hoping that everything works. And I appreciate through a live stream the opportunity to interact with people. So thank you, Akinsola, for joining me from Nigeria. I'm glad that you're here to just participate live for the CICD Summer School. For you that are watching the replay, put some comments on the event page. I'm going to have some action items for all of us coming up here pretty soon. So just hang in there and we'll get to that. Let's go to the next slide here, which I want to share some of the inspirations that really had me wanting to get into live stream. I got another one here. I just want to drop it and recognize Frosty, watching from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Frosty, thank you so much for joining us today as well. So as a content creator, I like to monitor the craft, right? I like to see how other people are producing their content, and I consume it just like any other person that would be watching it for the information. But I also like to see the artistry and the craft behind it. So there's some folks that I follow on LinkedIn. Samira Dolan's one of them on her Cloud News Network platform. She's doing the live streams on the regular. I really like her interview style. She's got some, cutting edge topics that she cover as far as cloud careers go. So I really like following her just to like stay current on what's happening in the cloud and following the people that she interviews. So that just kind of broadens my sphere of influence for me to collect more knowledge. Got some other folks in the chat here. Just want to shout out Samuel joining us all the way from Cameroon. I don't know what time it is in Nigeria and Cameroon, but thank you guys for joining me. It's 9 a.m. in Southern California. So thanks for making the time in your day to join me on this live stream. Moving on to Ray Villalobos. And I should, if I go back to Samira, she's also a LinkedIn Learning instructor. So that's one of the ways that I follow her content as well. Ray Villalobos, he's also a LinkedIn Learning instructor. He produces a lot of content on software development, web design, and lately he's gotten into a lot of artificial intelligence stuff. So cutting edge content. And one of the things that I like about Ray and his live stream is his basically the production value is awesome. If you check out Ray, you'll totally see what I'm talking about. He's got the lighting dialed in, he's got the overlays dialed in, and it's just a very joyful, entertaining stream to watch. In addition to the information and content that he's sharing, so shout out to Ray and his content as well. I also follow a lot of YouTubers as well. And I just want to call out a few that I follow that kind of fit into this topic. And just, one, I just got to give a major shout out to Tamika and Dion at Women in Linux. Actually, I got to give Tamika the shout out because she's the one who kind of led me down this path in a very, very sort of circuitous way. I'll share that story or save that story for another time. But shout out to Tamika and Dion for the work that they do in Women in Linux. They also live stream on the regular. Streams are long and full of content from beginning to end. So if you have the opportunity to follow them on YouTube, I definitely recommend checking out Women in Linux. Next up is Tech Coach Ralph. And Tech Coach Ralph, he focuses on quality assurance and software testing. So I follow him because in my trade as a DevOps engineer, SRE, and automation engineer, I work with software developers and quality assurance engineers to get their automation online. So I like the way that he sort of brings the modern view of QA, the tools, the careers, the lifestyle of a QA engineer. And what I really, really appreciate about Tech Coach Ralph is his approach is what I want to say. His approach is honest and constructive. He doesn't really pull any punches. He's going to tell you like it is, but he's giving you facts. He's not really putting people down or questioning motives or whatever the case is, but he's giving you honest feedback of like changes people might need to make or things you can check out, learn, and how to progress your career as a quality assurance engineer. So definitely check out Tech Coach Ralph on YouTube. Also want to call out GPS. Gwyneth has been covering cloud and career for a long time. She, a content creator, also produced content for A Cloud Guru. So you may know her content from that platform, but she's also on YouTube. And she's also just a very honest and upfront person about what it takes to be successful as an engineer working in the tech industries, specifically with the cloud. She's over at Microsoft, so her preferred cloud might be Azure. But I mean that's all the better. That's one of the ways. Again, like I follow a lot of people that cover AWS. Tech with Lucy is another one that I follow. But I appreciate when GPS covers stuff in Azure because that's not a platform that I touch regularly. But again, it kind of gives me that exposure to what's new in Azure. And again, she's just honest and really upfront and straightforward with her content. Okay, so now let's sort of bring it over to why we're all here today for CI/CD Summer School. And the real inspiration behind this, besides me wanting to live stream, is the podcast Planet Money. So Planet Money is an NPR podcast, and I'm an avid podcast listener. It takes me months to kind of catch up to where my podcast feed is. So I'm usually like at least a month behind in all the podcasts that I listen to. But Planet Money is one that I listen to regularly. And every summer, they put together a program called Planet Money Summer School. So they take 8 episodes, or maybe even multiple episodes, but it's 8 episodes in the months of July and August, where they cover topics in economics. So it's like a deep dive in economics and the all the factors that come to bear when you're considering economic changes and how that affects us. So I was like, that's really cool. What if more folks did something like that, where we took this summertime where hopefully things are a little bit easier around work, maybe we're relaxing, taking some time off, and we deep dive or took a deep dive and focused on a topic. So I was like, well, we could do that for CI/CD. So that brought forth the idea for CI/CD Summer School. So here we are today. Thank you, NPR, for putting on Planet Money. And thanks to the Planet Money folks for Planet Money Summer School. I really appreciate the inspiration you gave me there. Okay, so let's get into CI/CD Summer School. And this is the curriculum that we're going to go through. We're going to have several live sessions covering topics from all over CI/CD. We're going to start from the beginning, covering common terms in CI/CD. Like today, we define CI/CD and the bonus CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. And we're going to cover some popular tools and techniques. I don't want to go too in depth in any particular tools per se, because everybody's setup is different. I might prefer one tool. I'm a big fan of Jenkins just because we got that name alliteration going on. And I think that's good. It's really good for SEO. I'll tell you that. But other folks might be using TeamCity or Bamboo or Circle CI or anyway, I'm not going to go too far into the tools, but we will touch on some of the more popular ones. We'll talk about security, because security is like very important when it comes to delivering software, and even more so these days when we have situations, and I'm not going to call any out today, but situations where we can't trust our software delivery pipelines. So how do we keep our pipelines secure? We'll definitely be discussing that. We'll be talking about some different deployment techniques, ways that we can take our software from from the repo to wherever it's supposed to be running. We'll definitely talk about the different ways that we do that in the delivery and deployment phases. But I think most importantly, um, I want to I want to focus on what you want to know. So uh, it's going to be based, any future sessions will be based on your questions and feedback. So I want to leave some room for some flexibility there so that as we proceed through these next few sessions, that I can bring in content that either you're watching live, Frosty, Akinsola, Samuel, or if you're watching the replay, you leave a comment and you let me know what you want to focus on. You will have homework if you're following me through this whole thing, right? I don't want you to just come and think you're just going to soak up this information without having to actually put some work into the learning. So at the end of every session, I'm going to give you an assignment, and we'll review that at the beginning of the next session. Open book, use whatever resources you need. But I'm just looking forward to sharing some information from you, and then giving you some direction on applying that particular knowledge, so it sticks a little bit better, right? Okay, what is next? These slides are supposed to keep me on focus and on task. Oh, okay. So homework for session 0. What I want you to do is I want you to leave a comment. I want you to let me know what topics you want to discuss. And if you have taken any of my courses and you didn't use the Q&A feature, which is totally fine, that's okay. But if you have questions, now's the time for us to talk about them in real time, right? If you use the Q&A feature, I'll check the Q&A feature on the courses. Or if you leave a comment on the event page, then I will check those places before the next session, and I'll try to apply them or work them into the topic for that particular session. The next homework assignment is I want you to register for session 1. So this is like the first day of school, right? You don't really get any hard homework on that first day, right? Along with leaving a comment or asking a question, I want you to register for the next session. So the next session is going to be scheduled for next Friday at this same time. I'm looking at Fridays for the next, I don't know, however many weeks to get through all the content that I want to cover. But if you can sort of keep this time free, then focus on registering for the course. It'll be around the same time. I don't have the event online yet, but it will be available maybe by the end of the day today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how that works out. But definitely by Monday, I want you to register for the next session. Let's see. Oh, and these sessions are going to be short. They're not going to be long. I'm not going to hold you here for hours on end, because I got things to do. I got work to do. And I'm sure you have a busy schedule as well. If it's nighttime, you might be ready to go to bed and just kind of call it a day wherever you are. So I'm not going to hold you very long for these sessions. They're going to be anywhere from 15 to maybe 30 minutes. We've been on now for maybe about 20 minutes. So I think that's kind of like the sweet spot, or where we're going to hit as far as time goes for these particular sessions. Okay, so I think that is my last slide. I'm going to close that out. I'm going to bring up a few more comments here, folks that joined in from the live stream. Yes, go ahead and subscribe to all those folks. Follow Samira, follow Ray, subscribe to Women in Linux, follow Tech Coach Ralph, and follow GPS. That's not a homework assignment, but I just highly recommend you do that. And Akinsola, yes, the idea, I can't take any credit for the actual idea or whatever, but yeah, I really appreciated Planet Money for their Planet Money Summer School. I've been listening to that for, my goodness, maybe 5 or 6 years now, and it just kind of dawned on me like, hey, why can't we just do this for topics that we're interested in? So yeah, I really wanted to try to use that as the inspiration to make this happen. So with that, that really concludes the session. I want to thank you for joining me live on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you might be watching this. And I want to thank you also for joining me in the replay of this. Uh, don't forget your homework, ask a question, leave a comment, and sign up for the next session, because that's when the rubber is really going to hit the road. We're just going to dive right into CI CD summer school. So thank you for joining me today. I really, really do appreciate it. And I will see you in session 1.